Oh man, the Leafs finally mixed in a win. Maybe now, Leafs Nation can finally get back to normal and just call. Let's come out! Hi! Victory puppy! Land the parade!
I have no idea what I'm doing.
God to the riches of the Leafs! This team is ruining my life! Victory puppies, boys! Oh my goodness, are you so happy that the Leafs are good again? Oh my goodness, I miss you guys. I haven't seen you at all lately. All right, boys, we need to have sportsmanship, though. They allowed 7 goals. Moment of silence. Can I drink coffee at it? Oh, there's holes in it. I'll just have to wait for the real thing. Oh, have I forgotten how to do this? Leafs win 7-2 over the New Jersey Devils. Ugh. I think we should all apologize to Keith Kinkaid this time. Connor Brown and Nazem Kadri, 2 guys who could use the points, both got 3 assists each. Goal and an assist for Matthews, goal and an assist for Tavares. Tyler Ennis scored goals 6 and 7, which just seemed mean. But more importantly, beyond a Leafs win, the Leafs started on time. Don't you just love Christmas? 'Tis the season of miracles when magic and wonder happen. Asterisk against the Devils. Which is not a thing we said 12 months ago or less. Before I get to Devils fans, I just want to show how historic this win was. From NHLPR, the Maple Leafs became the first team in 2018-19 to have 6 different former first-round picks to account for 6 or more goals in the same game. So okay, I brought that to you going, okay, if that was the first time ever, it's still too niche. But as I was reading it just now, I just realized it was only for this season. Dude, that's not a stat. Did you guys know that my channel gets the most views out of any hockey YouTuber who has a blue room and his name is Steve and only discovered hair gel 2 years ago and carries a lot of attention? It's very niche, but of that niche, I am the champion! It would at least be mildly interesting if it was the first time that it ever happened. It's been around for 100 years. Third of a season, that's not a thing! But it's complimentary to the Leafs, so do you think? Hey, Devils fans, if I were you, I don't really know what I would want, but I would want something. Could you fire the coach? You could absolutely fire the coach. But would firing John Hynes, the guy who brought you to the playoffs unexpectedly just last season, actually do anything? You could fire the GM? Yeah, you can fire the GM. But just like John Hynes, Ray Shero seemed pretty smart just a year ago. And I remember I was critical of the Devils in the summer because they didn't really do anything. But are they allowed to do anything? And I guess if I were you, that would be the most frustrating part. Because for some teams around the league, it really is that simple. Oh, you know what? We suck. We'll reset and it'll be fine. But the Devils aren't a huge spender in this league, so they gotta get creative. So I guess if I were you, that's what I would be asking Ray Shero to do. Get creative. Although at this point in the season, I don't know how much of a difference it's gonna make. They're probably gonna be sellers at the deadline. They got a bunch of wily vets and teams love that sort of thing in February. You'll get a bunch of picks. Your own picks will be great and you can maybe even get Jack Hughes. And you gotta keep in mind, and this is hard as a fan of your own team, but from the outside looking in, every possible thing that could have gone wrong for the Devils this year has. Corey Schneider's save percentage isn't great against his own team, let alone against others. The expression on Keith Kinkaid's face says constant nightmare. After an MVP season, Taylor Hall barely looks like a VP. What's happening to the Devils now is what I was a little worried would happen to the Leafs when they first made the playoffs in Austin Matthews' rookie season. They ride this young, fast, exciting team to the playoffs. Look at the young guys on your team. There's still a bright future in New Jersey, but Shero's gonna have to get a little creative. Now to happy times, the Leafs. Barely over a minute in, Zach Hyman takes a holding call on Kyle Palmieri. That's bad. But the Leafs kill it off, and very shortly after, John Tavares draws a hooking call on Blake Coleman. That's good. But the Leafs don't score on the power play, and that's bad. Man, I know they won 7-2, but that power play needs to wake up. Which is something I actually saw people saying. Would it kill you to watch the game you're complaining about? The Leafs get a 3-on-1 on the power play. How do you break down like that, New Jersey? The 3-on-1 starts with the Leafs on the power play. Mid 3-on-1, the power play expired. But the Globetrotter cycle has already begun. And the 3-on-1 is Tavares, Matthews, Kadri. And man, I know the Leafs need help on the right side of defense, but gosh, that's fun. Your top 3 centers on a 3-on-1 rush? Sure. Get a load of this goofy sentence. Matthews to Kadri to Tavares? Okay, that's when you should apologize to Keith Kinkaid for. Even Ben Lovejoy, the only devil back, who's like, help! Tavares continues to be ridiculous. That's goal number 21 on the season. And the Leafs power play went 0 for 3 tonight, and that one is technically not a power play goal, but it is. And it's at least the second time this season the Leafs have scored a power play goal less than 2 seconds after the penalty expires. Leafs, decent start, you gotta keep it going. Less than 2 minutes later. Jake Gardiner, fantastic battle along the boards to keep the puck in. He falls, backhands it twice while on the ground. That allows Kasperi Kapanen to keep it at the blue line, passes it over to Zaitsev, who attacks. The puck's loose in the slot. What's going on? It's it! Zaitsev, Matthews, I don't know, but they're reviewing it. Subtle thing about reviews, usually you don't need to give a goalie an excuse to get indignant, but here's Keith Kinkaid on this goal. Really? A telltale sign that it's not goalie interference is when the goalie doesn't seem to think it's goalie interference. I know that's not the most academic thing and they have video review, but I bet they take that into account. But John Hynes reviews it. I initially thought this was Zaitsev's goal, but no, the puck is loose in the crease. Damon Severson, who's on the ground and basically on his goalie, punches it to Austin Matthews. Bold strategy. And that's Matthews' 17th of the season. John Tavares is on the best goal-scoring pace of his career. He's on pace for over 50 goals. Austin Matthews was out of the lineup forever, and John Tavares was excellent while he was gone, and Matthews is still only 4 goals behind him. Tavares even scored that night. He scored 2 minutes before Matthews assisted on it. Matthews is a monster. So, what did I think of the review? This was a fun little debate on ice surfing. Jeff Merrick and Jason York going back and forth. And Jason York was a defenseman in the NHL. And he didn't grow up a Leafs fan, he didn't play for the Leafs, he doesn't live in Toronto. But the point he brought up was the NHL wants physicality. That was literally in a memo they sent out. They wanted it to be a more physical league. Some people were saying Matthews shoved Severson into Kincaid. I just don't think so. That was a battle between 2 guys fighting for position, and one of them lost. And he lost so bad that he fell on his goalie and then played a loose puck in the crease with his hand. Oh, if I was a Devils fan, I'd probably be mad and I would have more difficulty seeing it this way. And if this happens to the Leafs, which it's almost guaranteed to because I said it, please remind me that I had this take. But there do have to be winners and losers in net front battles. Otherwise, all you would have to do as a defenseman is just fall down. Oh, I got shoved. Basically the opposite of what happened in the dead puck era. In the dead puck era, the forward would be like, oh, I got shoved and fall onto the goalie, causing a great amount of interference and then a goal that would end up counting. Now it would be the defenseman opting to take out their own goalie to prevent a goal. I fully don't blame John Hynes for reviewing it. That was definitely reviewable, but it's a goal in my opinion. Now, lost in the conversation because of the review and the fact that he didn't even get an assist on this, Jake Gardiner caused that goal to happen. He went for an aggressive battle. He knew Zaitsev was back. He knew Kapanen could have his back and the Devils weren't very aggressive. And he just did not give up on that puck. Like a dog. Props to Jake Gardiner. And there's that whole assist debate again. He didn't get a secondary or primary assist, but if you could give a third assist, he would definitely be worthy of it. Ifs, buts, you know the tale. Third goal. A few minutes later, another keep at the blue line. This time it's Travis Dermott. Sends it along the half boards to Nazem Kadri. Kadri throws it in front where there is a Leaf and no one else. Marleau with just a little shove off Sami Vatanen to create some space. Thank you very much. I've done this a few times before. Marleau's 9th of the season ties him for 30th in all-time NHL goal scoring with Maurice Rocket Richard. I'm not here to tell you that Marleau is a better goal scorer than Rocket Richard. We get into the whole, well, how many games did he play debate. We brought this up earlier in the season when Ron Hainsey hit 1,000 games. There is something to be said about quantity. It's hard to play 1,000 games in the NHL. So few people have done it. What's the number now? Something around 330? Well, scoring 544 goals in the NHL is even harder. And he just became just the 31st person in NHL history to do it. Soon he'll pass Michel Goulet, Ron Francis. He's got an outside shot at guys like Guy Lafleur, Mike Modano, Matt Sundin, Joe Nieuwendyk this season. Even though he has a contract that goes through next season, he's still a ways away from 600 goals. That's going to be hard. But if he stays healthy, he will easily slide into the top 25 goal scorers of all time. Yo, check this out. That was goals. I wanted to see where Marleau is in points. Oh, wow. He's 55th in NHL history. Who's 54th? Who's he got to catch? Oh, my. Sidney Crosby is already 54th all time? Ovechkin's 51st? We do not appreciate those guys enough. Yada, yada, yada. Good for Patrick Marleau and good for the Leafs. 3-0 after the, Here's how I know the Devils are a frustrated team. Because of what Sami Vatanen did to that poor puck. He looked at that puck and imagined it was the Devils' season so far. Die! Blasted by Freddie Anderson. Hard to believe that was only his 2nd goal of the season with a shot like that. And it's 3-1 Leafs after 1. And I couldn't help but think of something. Remember that time in Matthews' rookie season when he was on a goal drought and then I, sort of summoned hockey demons? And he scored 2 goals in the first period. The Leafs were up 3-0. And then the Devils came back and the Leafs lost that game 5-4 in the shootout, which doesn't even count. Yeah, I was really hoping for a strong Leaf performance in the second so that wouldn't happen again. Believe it or not, that's what we got. Early in the second, Leafs with a 3-on-2. Marner drops it back for John Tavares. Zach Hyman is wide open, so John shoots it. He hits the post, and Mitch Marner, who's wide open, which is a bold strategy, let me say, just taps it in. Just a tap-in goal. Tavares is like, hey, that's my job. Hyman like, that's also mine. But he's a team player. That's all that matters. And the Mountain Dew is good! The Leafs are up 4-1. Mitch Marner picking Taylor Hall's pocket in the offensive zone to start this play, and he finishes it. And Devils fans, this is what I'm saying by like everything that could go bad is. Tavares takes that shot, it hits the post, it hits off the ice. Oh, you dodged one. Banks off Andy Green and almost goes in. Like a week after the Devils scored 3 own goals on themselves in a loss to the Ducks. Like at least Marner scored this one. It's less embarrassing. And everyone's getting their chance to do their part for the Leafs in this one. Leafs relatively sound defensively until Kyle Palmieri receives a stretch pass and gets a breakaway. Freddie Anderson, lazy glove save. Yes, it's a 3-goal lead, but it's a 4-1 lead, and we've seen those evaporate before. I'm talking about when the Leafs tied it against Detroit. Don't think about that! Anyway, final 10 seconds of the frame. Connor Brown rings it around the boards for Kadri. Kadri receives it, takes a peek. Morgan Riley? Sorry! It's hard to even mime those. I'm not left-handed. Morgan Riley with his 11th of the season, 5-1. Earlier this season when Riley apologized to Kincaid, wasn't that the 5-1 goal as well? Last year, the Devils gave the Leafs nightmares, and when we were talking about the playoff picture, I was like, I don't want the New Jersey Devils. This year, ooh, change of fortunes. Riley makes it 5-1 with like 2 seconds left in the second. That's it. Kincaid gets the mercy pull. Mackenzie Blackwood put in for the third. And by the way, this is Blackwood's first NHL action. Second round pick in 2015, who spent most of last season in the AHL. His numbers were brutal, but this year in the AHL, they've been better. And now, less than 2 minutes into his NHL career, he's got a breakaway against Zach Hyman. Sprawling split save on Hyman, and you know what? I'm starting to think maybe it's not all the goalie's fault. Even 6 minutes left, Andreas Janssen with an excellent no-look pass to Matthews. Blackwood stops Matthews. Not the greatest shot, but he stopped it. Blackwood doing his best to keep the Devils in a game that they clearly think is over with 6 minutes left. About 5 minutes to go in the game, Nico Hischier is able to bag one. I think it was a defensive miscommunication between Gardner and Tavares. But then with less than 4 minutes to go, the fourth line decides to play like it's game 7. Mad Fleury in front, Perra Lindholm behind the net, slap. Gets to the Connor Brown, he puts it in front for Tyler Ennis, guy! And you know how I said Tyler Ennis always celebrates like it's gonna be his last goal? I'm happy for him too, and it was a great goal, but it's 6-2 with like 3 minutes to go. About 90 seconds to go, it happens again. Rebound in front, he's left all alone. Tyler Ennis scores. This time he's like, gentlemen. Actually, you see he gave the bro hug to Lindholm? What? I never see that in hockey. I like it. So Mackenzie Blackwood in his NHL debut faces 10 shots and stops 8 of them. But that's where the stats don't really matter. He was probably the Devils' MVP of the third, and he still hasn't allowed a single NHL goal of consequence. Great effort by the Leafs. Terrible effort by the Devils, though. Who cares? Take the W. And now the Leafs play 3 games in 4 nights, starting on Thursday. All 3 of them are at home. On Thursday, they get a mulligan against Florida, day off. Then they play the Rangers on Hockey Night in Canada, and the following night, they play Detroit. I think Garrett Sparks will get a do-over. Questions? 7E2 Peck? Why 3S? Eat that pepper yet? No, I've been busy, alright? I'm gonna do it! I said I was gonna do it! My little pupper wants to say hi. Not a question, but will accept. 10 out of 10 would pet. How amazing is the coffee today? Matt? Oh yeah. Who told Mitch Marner to shoot the puck? Twitter? Twitter. I'm gonna say Twitter. We did it, guys! I like this one. We'll end with this one. Shout out to a fellow Oshawite. Is that what it is? Anyway, do you think with Dubas's comments about going after more controllable players instead of rentals, would that mean the Leafs would target Parayko, 4 years, over Pietrangelo, 2 years? And if the Leafs land one, which would you prefer? I guess, yeah, they would target Parayko over Pietrangelo, but if I'm the Blues, I charge more for Parayko than Pietrangelo. But dude, that's just smart. Rentals are a huge risk that rarely pay off. Over the past 2 playoff runs, the Leafs have given up 2 second-rounders and 2 prospects in exchange for 2 fourth-line centers. What he would rather do is get guys who are gonna be Leafs for a while. But I would get the names Parayko and Pietrangelo out of your head. Use your imagination a little bit. Dubas wanting to avoid pure rentals is something I'm actually all in favor for. Well, what if it's a piece that gets you all the way over the top? Well, I think he's smart enough, but the risk-reward just doesn't pan out usually. There's 16 teams that make the playoffs, and almost all of them go after rentals, which means to varying degrees, 15 teams blow it every year. You're better off getting someone with at least another full season left on their contract. Look at Tampa with Ryan McDonough, for example. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. This book, This Team is Ruining My Life, is still available for pre-order down below. This is a very long video, but it was good. You loved it. It was so good.